everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be exploring all things Cricut blades and tools. You see, when I first got my Cricut, I kind of went a bit crazy and bought every single accessory, tool, blade you can think of, which honestly is really not necessary if you are just starting out. Over time, I figured out what blades and tools work best for me, and looking back, I definitely did not need to purchase all of those. I'm going to be doing an overview of the blades and tools for Cricut, what they're used for, and add on my suggestions and ratings on what blades and tools may be helpful for you. Let's get into it. First up is the fine point blade. Now this blade actually comes with your Cricut machine and it performs all of your basic cuts. You can use this with paper, cardstock, and vinyl, and you can use it with any mat. Of course, as it comes with your Cricut machine, I definitely recommend this as you will be using it the most. I certainly do, and I find it very helpful with most of my cuts. Here is the fine point blade tool in action. I'm just loading it into my Cricut machine and then using it to cut out a sticker sheet. Next up, we have the engraving tip. Each tool has its own identifying number, but I like to add the initial of what the tool is for just so I can remember. So the engraving tip is actually good for adding any type of personalized text or monograms into your project. You can use it with acrylic, leather, plastic, or wood. You just have to make sure that your material is no thicker than 2 millimeters. I definitely recommend using this with a strong grip mat. Now, would I recommend this tool? I'd say no, not for me. I was hoping that I'd be able to engrave jewelry blinks, but because you can only use material up to 2 millimeters thick, I wasn't able to use it for my liking. Next, we have the deep point blade, and as the name suggests, you can use this with any thick materials like chipboard, foam sheets, cardboard, and magnets. You're able to perform intricate cuts with this blade, and it's actually angled at 60 degrees versus 45 degrees. Definitely use the strong grip mat with this so your material doesn't move around. Would I recommend this blade? Probably not. It's not something I've reached for, and honestly, the fine point blade works just fine for me in terms of cutting heavier material. Here's the bonded fabric blade, and this is good for intricate cuts on fabrics. You can use this with any type of fabric or fabric with iron-on, and there's a special fabric grip mat that you need to use with this. Would I recommend this? I personally haven't used it, so I'll say no, but if you plan on working with fabric or felt, then you can go ahead and get this for your needs. Moving on to the scoring wheel. So there's actually two tips for this, the single scoring wheel and then the double scoring wheel. This tool is good for making cards and it creates a single score line down the middle if you're using light paper or a double score line if you're using heavier paper. You can use this with cardstock and you can use any mat with it. Would I recommend it? Definitely. I love making cards and this helps create an indent for me to be able to fold my cards nicely. Here I'm loading the double score wheel into my Cricut, and as you can see it makes a line down the middle so I can fold my card in half. I'm really excited to talk about this tool, the foil transfer tool, and it's probably my most used tool that I have from Cricut. So with this, it creates a foil effect to your design. It has 3 tips: fine, medium, and bold. You can use this with paper and cardstock, and you can use it with any mat. Would I recommend it? I'd say for sure. If you want to add a cool dimension to any of your projects, it definitely is a great add-on. I use these in my artworks and also in my cards and tags. If you do plan on using this, you're going to need to use the Cricut foil transfer sheets. I have tried Deco Foil and the Heidi Swap foils, but they don't work well. And here, as you can see, I'm adding foil to a project. You attach the foil with special tape, and then when you peel it off, it leaves a beautiful design. Here is the rotary blade, and it's good for sewing crafts. You can use this with materials such as fabric, tissue paper, and cork, and you can use it with thicker grip mats such as the fabric or the heavy duty. Would I recommend this? This is another blade that I haven't reached for, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you plan on doing crafts with sewing. Here is the knife blade, and similar to the deep point blade, it slices through thicker material up to 2.4 millimeters. You can use this with materials such as chipboard and balsa wood. and you should use this with a strong grip mat, again, so your material doesn't move around. Would I recommend? No. I don't think you need the fine point blade, the deep point blade, and the knife blade all together unless you plan on doing really heavy cuts. Again, as said before, I'd recommend just going with the fine point blade. Now we have the debossing tip. When I got this, I was very excited about it at first, as it's good for creating depth to your design. But when I started to use it, I realized that it actually creates a depression in your paper, which is not the same as embossing. You can use this with cardstock and any mat. Would I recommend? No, not necessarily, unless you're okay with the debossing look. I actually had to go and get a embossing machine for the effect that I wanted. Here I'm just taking my engraver tool and adding the debossing tip to it and loading it into my Cricut machine. My Cricut is now debossing a design onto cardstock. As you can see, it left more of a depression in the paper. This is the wavy blade, and it basically creates a wavy decorative edge, which is great for finished edges or design accents. You can use this with paper or cardstock, and you can use it with any mat. Would I recommend? I think so. Even though it's a blade that I haven't reached for, I do think that it would give a nice cool effect to your design. Lastly, we have the perforation blade. This creates perforation lines, which is great for tearing out booklets, pages, and journals. You can use this with paper and cardstock, and you can use it with any mat. Would I recommend? Again, I'd say yes. I think it's great for any crafters looking to create tear out booklet pages. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope it brings more clarity on what blades would be helpful for you with your crafts and your projects. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this.